You're listening to the Dental Patient Pipeline podcast, the show designed to help dentists like you attract more patients, grow your clinic, and build a thriving practice. Hosted by Mark Vernam, a leading expert in dental marketing, this podcast brings you proven strategies, real-world success stories, and no-fluff insights to turn clicks into booked appointments and prospects into loyal patients. If you're looking to grow your clinic to the next level, you're in the right place. Now, here's your host, Mark Vernam.
Hi everyone, and welcome along to this episode where we will put an end to those no-shows that bug every clinic owner I meet. Alright, let's dive in. No-shows and those dreaded last-minute cancellations, they're like the silent killers of a clinic's profitability, aren't they? I mean, we all feel it, the frustration when the schedule falls apart, the wasted staff time, and frankly, the wasted opportunities. We're going to tackle this problem head-on today, why patients cancel or worse, don't show up altogether, and, more importantly, what you can do to make it happen less often. Less drop-offs, more filled schedules, that's the goal, right? Now, let's look first at the real cost here. It's not just missed revenue, though, of course, that's huge. It's also the way it disrupts your team's flow, lowers efficiency, and honestly, can drain motivation. No clinic can thrive if this becomes a regular thing. But why do patients cancel anyway? Well, there are the obvious reasons, right? Forgetfulness is a big one. Then there's fear, be it of pain, discomfort, or just the dentist's chair itself. Financial issues come into play, especially if they see the treatment as optional. And then there's the classic scheduling conflict, work or life just gets in the way. But here's the thing, and I think this is key, most patients don't feel that sense of urgency unless we create it. If it's not life or death, they push it aside, and that's what you're up against. A mindset, not just their circumstances. So here's a shift I want you to consider. No-shows aren't just a patient problem, they're a system problem, and when you fix the system, the processes, the communication, the policies, guess what? You fix the no-show issue. Simple, but not easy, right? Alright, so let's talk about expectations, setting them the right way, right from the start. And honestly, this one step can make or break your ability to reduce no-shows. It's that important. The reality is, most clinics fail here because patients walk out feeling like their appointment is optional. Flexible, like they can just cancel or move it around however they want. And hey, I get it, no one wants to come across as pushy or overbearing, but here's the thing, if you're not clear, they're not committing. Period. Now, step one is a strong confirmation process. Make it crystal clear why their appointment matters, not just to you, but to them. This isn't about nagging, it's about reinforcing the value of their time and their health. Simple, but powerful stuff. Next, let's talk about having a firm but fair cancellation policy. Ideally, you're asking for at least, 48 hours notice? That's enough time to try and fill the slot, and it needs to be easy for them to reschedule, whether that's via text, an online portal, or even a quick call. But here's where you can take it up a notch. A signed commitment agreement. Nothing fancy, just a straightforward acknowledgement that confirms, hey, I'm agreeing to show up. It's psychology. People are way more likely to honor something they've committed to in writing. Oh, and framing here matters too. We're not talking penalties or scare tactics. It's about framing your policies in a positive light. Like, instead of focusing on fees or rules, emphasize how they're helping you run the clinic efficiently so you can deliver the best care possible. Because that's really what it's all about, isn't it? Now, let's get into the power of automation. And let me just say, if you're not using automated reminders yet, you're leaving far too much to chance, right? Patients are busy, their lives are chaotic. Automating this process isn't just convenient, it's absolutely critical. Here's a simple 3-step reminder system that works like magic. Step 1. Shoot out a reminder 1 week before their appointment. Step 2. Follow up 2 days out. And step 3, this one's key. Send a same-day reminder. Hit them through SMS, email, even a quick phone call if needed. Don't think of it as overkill, think of it as covering every base. But let's make these reminders count. Personalization is everything here. If your message feels like some generic robotic, don't forget your appointment, you'll lose them. Address them by name, reference their specific treatment, include details about your clinic, engage them, make them feel valued. And hey, don't underestimate the power of a two-way SMS. Instead of a one-sided blast, ask for quick confirmation. Get them to reply yes to lock in their attendance. When patients make that micro commitment, they're way less likely to ghost you. It works. Trust me. Another trick, pre-appointment value messaging. This is where you go beyond reminders and actually build excitement or at least reassurance about their visit. Share some FAQs, maybe a quick success story, or even just a friendly what to expect guide. It's about reinforcing their decision to show up, showing them why it's worth their time. And don't forget to track who's engaging, who opened the email, who clicked the link, who hasn't responded at all. If someone's ignoring your reminders, that's your cue to follow up differently. Maybe a personal call or even a slightly firmer message. Stay proactive, not reactive. All right, let's talk about prepayments and deposits because here's the thing. When patients put money down, they show up. Simple as that. It's about commitment. When someone invests even a small amount up front, they're psychologically tied to their appointment. And that's gold for reducing no-shows. Now, not every visit needs a deposit, obviously, but think about your high-value treatments like implants, Invisalign, or whitening consultations. Those are prime candidates for prepayments. These appointments often take more time, more resources, and frankly, more effort to rebook if someone bails. By requiring a deposit, you're protecting both your schedule and your revenue. But here's a fun fact, how you frame it matters. Call it a commitment fee instead of a penalty or charge. The words make all the difference. Patients are way more likely to accept it if it feels positive, like a proactive step rather than a slap on the wrist. It's not a punishment, it's professionalism. And let's address the big fear some of you might have. What if patients push back? Well, you need a strategy for this. Start by explaining the benefits to them, things like securing their spot or making their treatments seamless. And hey, flexibility goes a long way too. Maybe allow patients to roll over their deposit if they need to reschedule. That way, it never feels like they're losing out. It feels fair. And finally, scripting is your best friend here. Train your team to handle those tough conversations. Keep it positive, keep it clear, and show patients that this isn't about rules. It's about respect for their time, for your time, and for the care you're providing. So here's the deal. Just because a patient didn't show up doesn't mean you've lost them forever. The truth is, if you handle no-shows right, you can often turn things around and get those patients back in the chair quickly. It's all about how you follow up. First, and this is key, you can't just let a no-show slide. Waiting around, that's where most clinics go wrong. The fastest you can follow up, the better. Think of it as damage control, a quick text or call that says, "Hey, we noticed you missed your appointment. Let's get you back on the schedule." That's all it takes. Direct, simple, and no guilt tripping. That's important too. Now, let me give you a simple 3-step system to recover from a no-show. Step 1 is the immediate follow-up, within a couple of hours if possible. Strike while it's fresh in their minds. Step 2, use soft, encouraging language, even something like we hope everything's okay. And step 3, offer a quick and easy way to rebook. Send a link, let them text back, or just have your team ready to assist. The less friction, the better. But sometimes getting them to rebook isn't just about logistics. It's about making them feel welcome, especially if they're embarrassed about missing the first one. This happens more often than you'd think. Patients might avoid rebooking because they feel bad or think they've upset you. So here's what you do. Create an environment that's judgment-free. Be positive. Make it clear they're always welcome back, no questions asked. That kind of approach can make a huge difference. Then there's automation. If you're not already using software to handle no-show follow-ups, you're making things harder than they have to be. Automation does the heavy lifting for you, sends those texts, emails, even pre-filled rebooking links. And bonus, You can track who clicks the link and rebooks versus who keeps ignoring it. Data is your friend here. Finally, let's talk about repeat offenders. Because let's be honest, some patients just have a habit of not showing up. And for those folks, you might need to set the boundaries a bit firmer. Flag risky patients in your system, and when it's clear someone's a no-show repeat, consider policies like prepayments or deposits. It's not about being punitive, it's about protecting your clinic's time and resources. Okay, let's break this down. If you want to reduce no-shows, you've got to track them first. You can't manage what you don't measure, right? And it doesn't have to be complicated. Just start simple. Keep a running tally of missed appointments each week or month. Patterns will start to emerge, guaranteed. Speaking of patterns, this is where your patient data becomes gold. Look for trends. Are younger patients more likely to no-show? What about certain treatment types like cleanings versus bigger procedures? And let's not forget time of day, late afternoons, early mornings. Sometimes it's all about timing. Once you've got data, it's all about testing, A/B testing specifically. Maybe try SMS reminders for half of your patients and phone calls for the other. Emails, test those too, see what drives better results. But remember, one size never fits all. It's about learning what works best for your clinic. Now, your front desk team, they're your first line of defense here. And honestly, how they handle confirmations, cancellations, and rebookings can make or break your system. Are they confident, clear, efficient? If not, take the time to train them up. Role-playing tough conversations, giving them clear scripts, it all adds up. And here's the final piece. Optimization doesn't stop. It's not a set it and forget it situation. You've got to keep tweaking. Review your systems regularly, swap in new strategies if the old ones aren't cutting it, and stay ahead of the curve. A no-show-free clinic isn't about perfection. It's about progress. All right, so let's bring it all together. If there's one thing I want you to take away from today, it's that no-shows and cancellations, they don't have to be a chronic problem. They're absolutely fixable, and you've got the tools to make it happen. First up, your cancellation policy. Keep it clear and patient-friendly. It's not about being strict. It's about setting expectations that make sense for everyone. Patients appreciate clarity when it's done right. Next, the power of reminders. This three-step system we talked about, SMS, emails, and those quick phone calls, it works. It's simple, but it keeps your appointments front and center in your patients' minds. Busy schedules don't have to mean forgotten appointments, right? Then there's prepayments, especially for those high-value treatments. It's a game changer, honestly. That small financial commitment, it motivates patients to stick with their plans, reducing wasted time for your team and strengthening your schedule. Frame it as a commitment, not a penalty, and you'll see the difference. And hey, don't forget follow-ups. Every no-show is a re-engagement opportunity. That quick call or text after they miss an appointment, it's all it takes sometimes to get them back on track. Make it easy, make it welcoming, and you'll turn missed opportunities into wins. Finally, track and refine. You've got to measure what's working and what's not. It's not about perfection overnight. This is about small, consistent improvements that snowball into a system that just works. Look, I know it can feel overwhelming sometimes, but the effort is worth it. By building a structured approach, one that balances automation, patient care, and smart policies, you can keep your schedule full, your team motivated, and your revenue steady. And you'll create a better experience for your patients in the process. It's a win-win all around. And that's it for today. Take what you've learned and start putting it into action bit by bit. Progress is what matters here, not perfection. Thanks for joining me, and as always, here's to building the thriving clinic you deserve. Catch you next time.